Greetings, ladies and germs of planet Earth and beyond. King Zero Phoenix here, and welcome back to Subnautica. Last thing I remember from last time I played this, which was weeks ago, I don't remember the specifics, but I think I just started constructing a home. Oh wait, now I remember. I just got back from the mushroom caves and started building a home. Sorry. Anyhow, I wanted to try and do a little grinding off camera. Try and do things the right way, but in reality, hey, that's just gonna take too long, and I don't feel like wasting all everybody's time. So, with that in mind, I'm just gonna build everything right here, right now, the way I want it done. Reason why? Well, I've always felt, people always say I prefer to do things a certain way. I like doing it the honest way, going out for resources, actually scavenging for everything, trying to do things like an actual survivor would. And I find nothing wrong with that. My issue is, however...
It may be prudent to separate work and leisure spaces to maximize productivity.
Thank you.
Treat this space as your home, but never forget that it is not.
As far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm comfortable and is able to survive, anywhere is my home. There's always that sentimental home isn't a place, it's where my family and loved ones are and all that nonsense. I'm not saying I don't disagree with it, but sentimentality to a certain point gets old lightning fast. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. That'll mix and match. I've always done this with like either windows or reinforcements. But I don't know, and I think you can all agree it all just looks like one large veiny male organ. Male sex organ. I apologize I wasn't able to upload anything yesterday or the day before. Reality is, I am just not up to snuff at the moment. I only do things basically everything I do in my life is on a whim. If I feel like it, I'm gonna do it. If I don't, then I just don't. This, on the other hand, is not on a whim. Well, actually, I suppose you can think it is. I mean, whenever someone tries to do something, they think they'd rather be good at it, and want to actually succeed at doing it. Me, I have never done anything like that. I never done something because I thought I'd be good at it, I just wanted to do it just because I felt like it. A little childish, but that's how my mind works. If I try something I find out I suck at it, I try to stick through it because I don't want to be a quitter. Quitting never feels good. And actually feel good no matter how little effort it takes. And look at me what I'm doing right now. This takes very little effort, yet I'm getting things I want to do done. Sometimes I like to do things the hard way because it has a good sense of accomplishment when it's all over, but when I'm not in the mood, I just simply do things the more simpler way, and take care of things in a more simplified manner. Some could call it lazy, but whatever. Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't. Honestly, I just don't care anymore. It's interesting that we actually try to do things the hard way to get the satisfaction out of it. I think I'm thinking out the reason why. As we grow up, as we develop, we're often rewarded for what's considered good behavior and punished for what's bad behavior. That's why we do things that we do, like say, try and be good people at heart. We don't do not just because of the feeling we get that we did something good, just because it is the right thing to do, but subconsciously or unconsciously, however you want to phrase it, we expect a reward out of it. No one is completely selfless. Perhaps some people are, and I wish there were more of you out there. That is, when someone does something, it's probably not out of the goodness of their heart, as some would assume, but actually just because they expect a reward out of it. No, we don't do anything we want to just because we're good Samaritans. We do it simply because we want to get something out of it, or that our efforts wasn't wasted. And for me, some YouTubers do that for the reward, to share what they They want to do they do what they do to share it with others. To me, I think is a beautiful thing, but that just doesn't sit with me. I do this because I want to. Games has always been like an outlet for me growing up. To escape from the boring monotony of everyday life. Just...
Warning, emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
Most of us can be classified as ordinary people. We live our lives day to day and trying to find meaning of it, when in reality I don't think there really is some meaning, or there even has to be a meaning. We exist simply because we exist. Plain as... which is why nobody really wants to accept it, in my opinion. If we exist simply for the reason of being existing, and then why are we here at all? Simply to exist, how can that be the only reason we actually exist? My answer to that question is, why does there need to be a reason for us to exist? Why can't we just simply be? Is this just because? Does everything actually have to have a reason? Perhaps in some grand scheme of things, things are for a reason. Like, for example, herbivores consume grass to keep them from growing wild. I mean, with nothing to eat them, trees and grass grow wild. Certain creatures are able to thrive, like insects. They grow to massive size. But then that's why predators came around, to cull their numbers. That's where humans come along. We're a break in that chain. We used to have predators, but then we developed larger brains to aid in our survival, and as a result, we no longer have any predators. Well, any natural predators, I should say. Because the reality is, any creature on this planet, predatory, can kill us. There's large or small can kill us, whether it's by allergy or by how they were designed. For example, I know, unfortunately, tragic as it is, on certain safari, there's some idiot they want to get a closer look at the wild life, not even realizing the destructive power they possess. The fact that they can eviscerate them and kill them without even trying. Problem is, humans have gotten complacent. Still cozy about how simple we've made life for ourselves, but we've just stopped trying. We don't evolve anymore. We basically hit an evolutionary dead end. We basically reached the point of stagnation. And once we hit that point, that's basically when our species stops. We always try to do things differently. We try using technology to make our lives better. It may be improving our lives, but it's not helping with survival because we don't have to survive anymore. We decided we better to survive rather than just live, rather than just survive. As a result, our wastelands have been expanding. There's too many of us on the planet to deal with. Basically, it's just a mess. Because with so many different humans, everybody's got their own ideas how things should be run. We say who's right or who's wrong. Basically, chaos ensues.
Unless constructed with a specific research task in mind, observatories and other glass modules are imprudent for survival purposes.
Thank you for that, dearie, but seeing as this is my base, I can do whatever the F I want. So you're aware. Sorry if I don't have much to say. I don't know why I keep apologizing for that every time I do one of these. The truth is that I think I dare you all to name how many videos I've apologized for not having anything to say. The sad truth is I don't talk much. I don't have much to say, besides I actually spend a lot of time talking to myself about what I may plan to say for these videos, but by the time I get to it, it all just leaves my mind. I've never been good with words, or good at talking to other people. I'll say I haven't tried, but it's just not. It just doesn't end up well. You know, that's why I like games like this, survival games. Survival games like Far Cry Primal, Subnautica, Ark Survival Evolved. To me, these games are not only fun to play because of the story or the aspect of it, the whole survival thing, but survival actually helps you reflect who you are as a person. Like, how would you be able to survive? How would you be able to cope? Some are just some, and some just aren't. It's a sad but unfortunate truth. Of course, we hope we never actually have to be put into a situation where that's required, but the fact is, life seldom goes the way we want it to. We can try as much as we want, but more often than not, life always has to take us for a loop. Chrissy. And look at what I'm doing right now. It'd probably be several millennia far past my own lifetime where humans would be capable of something like this. Again, here we have a fake scenario where we're actually able to see for ourselves if it is possible. I don't say humans will never get to this point. Chances are we might. But I'm saying everyone wants it to happen in their lifetime because they've seen it somewhere else. But the reality is, at our rate of progress, we are just never gonna get to it in my current lifetime. And as unless any scientist comes out with a breakthrough, and honestly, who knows? Then again, who's to say humans should even be able to do this? Allowed to be able to go this far out in the cosmos. I heard of that movie that came out a long while ago, Alien Covenant. Basically, the alien bishop made his opinion that humans should not be allowed to colonize the galaxy, and to a certain extent, I agree. The humans are basically nothing but overglorified parasites, as much as all other mortal forms of life. I mean, all we do is burn up our resources without even considering the consequences, because we have to think about what is a waste of time. Fact is, we just do whatever we want without considering the devastating consequences it could have on not just us, but at the rest of existence as well. That's why here I like able to do things my way. Look, the fact is, the resources on this planet are finite, but thanks to this, I'm able to just do what I want without actually having to touch anything. I know the laws of the universe say matter cannot be created nor can it be destroyed. But then again, chances are if you subscribe to the multiverse theory, chances are there's actually a universe almost identical to ours, but one where the laws of thermodynamics don't actually apply. And that it actually is possible to create matter from nothing. And that's likely the universe we want to live in. A little bit of decor. And also, on that subject, because it also reminds me of Thanos' goal for the Infinity War. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already, but if you haven't, you're most likely living under a rock. Anyhow, that I watched the film theorist episode about how he may have been in the right. Well, true. There's no justification of what and of taking lives. But then again, and in my opinion, I agree with that. But then again, I also think of another piece of that he never even considered. He noticed the resources on his planet were dying and suggested his idea to wipe out half the population to conserve it. And naturally, they disagreed, and eventually and it basically died exactly. I told you so. But here's another thing Thanos just didn't consider, and nobody else seems to consider. The fact is, if things have to end, everything must come to an end sooner or later. And besides, as he also got the Mind Stone, a Time Stone, couldn't he have just fast-forwarded his planet a few million years or so in the future, and then possibly all the resources would have come back and life would be able to bloom again? The reality is, life continues on regardless of regardless of the circumstances. It can't be contained or monitored. We know as a reality, if humans left planet Earth, chances are in a few million years they'd be able to replenish the resources we've claimed from it. That's the problem. We're so used to having everything, like, right now. Now that we don't really have the patience to wait. I suppose in the end it all just comes down to mortals' lack of patience. Perhaps I think another way Thanos could have taken care of his little plan, and to conserve the universe's resources, it just sped up the natural regeneration process for existence. Like, everything needs to regenerate on their own over a period of time, but since he could have just, like, fast-forwarded everything with the snap of his finger instead of just killing off half the life in existence. But then again, that's the simplest solution, and if there's one thing I notice, people don't like the easiest solutions. They say the best solution to a problem is normally the easiest one, but nobody really seems to want to take that one. Perhaps it's the most... I believe there was a poem about... I don't remember, possibly Michael Frost. I don't know, just Frost. I'm not good with people's names. Anyhow, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. What it means is, while it may be easier to go along with what everyone else is doing, in the end, it'd be nice to... The one road that pays off the most in the end is the one where it goes against the grain. Again, I don't disagree with that. But the reality is, nobody wants to go against the grain. Because not only is it easier, it's basically the way it's programmed into our minds. We think we're going against the grain by taking the hard route, but the reality is that's actually the simplest way. One that's been pre-programmed into our DNA, we just don't realize it because we're used to it. But that's just me. I can't vouch for everybody. Humans are a bizarre race of creatures. That's, I think, an actually easier way. It's not just... but also somehow increase the mortality rate of... all mortals' mortality rate. Actually be able... No, that wouldn't be the answer. What I'm saying is, how can new growth occur when the old growth refuses to die? Like I said, everything must come to an end sooner or later. The problem is, as mortals, we don't want to go. We enjoy living, and the one thing I think we fear most is not the concept of death, of whether there is in fact a heaven or hell. What exactly happens to us, our person?
Without human contact, it is normal to experience psychological discomfort. Research indicates symptoms may be partly alleviated by adopting a pet or anthropomorphizing an inanimate object.
Yeah, like Castaway. Sorry, sweetheart, but I have no intention of anthropomorphizing anything today. At least not yet, anyways.
30 seconds.
Sorry I got all philosophical on everybody, but honestly, those are just topics that get me thinking and also cause me a little bit of irritation. Because I'm able to think about these things as plain as day, yet other people just dismiss them. It's quite sad, in my opinion. It also got me thinking about someone else. This also applies to, even though he's fictitious. Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. I'm sure my question is, who's the bigger victim of that series? Is everyone Rick comes in contact to, whether it be Morty, his Summer, Beth, Jerry, a bird person, or basically Rick himself? If you remember on the first episode of Season 3, where the aliens were trying to extract Rick's equation for interdimensional travel while he was in prison, whether it's true or not, basically Rick lost his wife and child to another version of himself, basically because he died when he was human, emotionally vulnerable. That's why he's such an ass, as he doesn't want to be that emotionally vulnerable ever again, because whenever he does, people around him and people he cared for end up dying, as we all saw at the end of Season 2 when Bird Person got killed. That's not to say he himself is completely heartless. He is emotionally vulnerable, given as, I believe... How in the world? Strange. Anyway, where are they? As much as an asshat as Rick may be in all the crimes he's committed, you can't exactly call him a complete monster. When you lose everything that matters to you, nothing else seems to matter. But if what he said is true, like when you realize that nothing matters, the universe is yours, how come there's no one in our universe who's... Probably a multitude of people in our universe who've realized that truth, yet somehow none of them have been able to take reality for a spin like Rick has. Perhaps they have and we don't know it, or the reality is perhaps there's some sort of being that's reached the level of omnipotence that's basically trying to keep us from doing that, because too many beings in other universes have done the same already. All just my opinion and nothing more than theories, but it is food for thought. You know what? I'm sorry I had to cut this video so short, but I want to get some gameplay of my own. I've been basically replaying Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, and I just want to get back into this. Not to say I don't enjoy doing this, but it's nice just to mix my routine up a little. So, again, sorry I got so philosophical on everybody. And hey, people should be thinking more about this kind of thing. Not enough people do. Anyhow, thank you everybody so much for joining me on this little adventure. Hit that like button to let me know you enjoyed yourselves. Pound the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing any more. If you're already subscribed... sorry. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay up to date, and be sure to share any opinions you may have with me down in the comments below. And until next time, this is King Zero Phoenix signing off. Laters!